Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and today I've got something a bit different for you. I've got a Diary of the Desperate Driver video. This is all about a driver that in my view gets a little bit desperate. We have an incident which I don't believe was anything to do with me, which wrecks my race. But what I want to do in this video is just look at how that driver might have got into the mindset to do the move that he did. So initially we're going to have a look at the move against me, and then we're going to rewind the video to the beginning of the race and we'll follow right the way through from his perspective. Now we're at Catalonia. This is the daily race C this week and it's a fuel saving race, so we've got some cars are fuel saving and some are going all out with a pit stop strategy. So we've got different speeds and I'm going flat out. So as we come up this little twisty part, you can see that I've got up the inside and we go bang bang, round I go, and then I actually take out an innocent bystander, so that wrecks two people's races with that one petulant move. This is it from my point of view. So I'm way over on the left hand side. The little Sky Mazda here comes over 1-2, he really leans on me the second time, puts me on the grass, and then unfortunately I had to hit the brakes and round I go and collect the Supra. So we can take a closer look at this from my point of view in slow motion. So as we're coming out of the corner, I know that that Mazda is going to be going over to the right to line himself up on the corner. Yes, I am well up on the curb at the moment, but I don't get a penalty, so I seem to get away with it and that seems clean. I'm nowhere near the Mazda, but he knows now with the speed advantage that I've got that I'm going to win that corner up ahead. So he goes bang one, bang two, and now he really leans into me to make sure that I'm going to go off on the second occasion. And unfortunately I've got to slow down for this corner. I couldn't get back on the track. Round I go and I completely T-bone the Supra, taking him completely by surprise. He must have been wondering what on earth I was doing, and around we go. Both of us race over right the way to the back. So this is the incident from his point of view. So he gets around that corner quite nicely. I'm nowhere near him. He's then moving over. I get a move up the outside and I'm thinking I'm not going to make that corner. He's going to beat me, so I'm going to ram him off, and around we go. And then he just carries on as if nothing has happened. So back at the beginning of the race now, we'll have a look at the race from his point of view, looking at it from behind his car and also cars behind. And you'll see that this was a very, very, very dirty, rammy race. And I can only imagine that the way that he got roughed up at the beginning, or she got roughed up at the beginning of the race, really put them in a mindset of, I'm going to have to give as good as I get. Now, unfortunately, I was the innocent bystander in this particular one and came off worse, which is why I'm doing this video. But you're going to see now just how these daily races are becoming so difficult to drive these days. So as we're coming down into the first corner, we're with the sixth place driver, and the car that we are monitoring does a really beautiful move into that first corner to take one place. So he's actually gone from fifth to fourth. Behind we've got all sorts going on, and as we come around into this corner, we're with the West now. You can see things are getting really bunched up. The car that we're monitoring is actually getting roughed up quite a bit. The West has had enough of that red car and pushes him out. We then got the Advan Supra on the outside making a move around the outside, and the Mazda gives him room and he gets up the inside with a really nice move done. And then if we drop back to my car, you can see now that things have all sort of settled down a little bit. So it was very, very punty and messy into those first few corners, and now you can see that he's really pushing on. His lines aren't great, the Mazda in front, and that's what really gives me an opportunity to get a move up the inside. So this is where what I refer to as the dirty move comes in. So this is where I go around and I take out the Supra, and then we'll just drop back and pick up the Mazda, and we'll just follow him through a little bit more. So we've picked up the Ferrari behind the car that we are monitoring, just so that we can see what's going on. And you'll see that the Mazda, when he's in space, he actually drives quite nicely. So we've got another Mazda that's just gone up the inside of the Ferrari. He's quite racy. He's obviously on a really quick strategy. And we'll just jump forwards to that car. And he actually pushes through quite aggressively as well during this particular race. So I think that's probably going to annoy the Mazda in front also. So as we're just coming down into the first corner of the second lap, you can see that the Mazda in front is going really deep on the brakes. So we've actually got a few Mazdas here that are all running closely together. And at the moment it's relatively clean, but I promise you it's not going to stay that way for much longer. So as we come underneath the bridge, you can see that the Mazda that we're in is already taking a look up the inside. He backs out of that one. Everything is all clean at the moment. He now takes a look down the outside, and again we're already bumping doors. Another bump as we go into this one. So again, the car that we're watching is already sort of got his elbows out. He's already moving across to do another push move on that green and red Mazda. That green and red Mazda survived that one, although this car manages to put it up the inside. So you can see there's a lot of argy-bargy going on in this race already. And as we come around just to approach this very, very tight left-hander, the green Mazda that we are in front of is looking to go up the inside. The car that we're monitoring comes across really aggressively to cut him off, but probably nothing wrong with that. I think it was a bit aggressive, but it did need to protect the corner. And then as we go through that one again, our car that we are monitoring gets roughed up and pushed out a little bit wide onto the dirt, and the other car is pushed their way through. We're now with the Honda, this black Honda. I actually had an issue with this black Honda in this race as well. He pushed two of us off into one corner. In the next race, I pulled up behind him at the start, so I gave him a quick bump, like a bump draft down here, and he was as good as gold with me in that race. Absolutely good as gold. So I'm not featuring him because I think that was an accident on his part. So we're on lap number 3 of 10, and as you can see, things have settled down. Whilst this Mazda that we're looking at is not in traffic, he's actually quite a reasonable driver, but as soon as he gets into battles with other cars, he seems to be weaving all over the place, taking very strange lines, very defensive here with that particular line. That puts him into a very difficult corner here where the Honda's always going to get a run. The Honda goes up the inside, but he lets him through, holding his line, both of them very nicely through there, so no worries whatsoever. The Mazda gets a little run back on that corner to get ahead, but the Honda tries to go around the outside. We're just with a Ferrari at the moment, back with the Honda, so he didn't quite manage to get around the outside, but again, our car that we're following is weaving around all over the place at the moment. The Honda gets a little bit squirrely on that corner, gathers it up quite nicely, so he's still with our car, so he decides to brake check him now. The Honda manages to go around him, but what on earth was he doing brake checking him there? He then goes really deep into this corner, so I think that may well have been a pump which the Honda avoided, and then the Ferrari could see what was going on, just dove in there, pushed our Mazda out the way, so the Mazda comes back and then pushes the Honda out the way, which brings the Ferrari into the mix, and you can see it's getting really bashy and rammy and really ugly right now, this particular race. And our little friend in his Mazda is right in the thick of things. So at this point we're still with the Honda, we've got the Ferrari in front of us, so just jump forward to the Ferrari. He's got a nice run down the main straight on the Mazda. The Mazda decides to go defensive again quite early on. I don't think he really needed to go that defensive that early, which really gives the Ferrari a good run. But going into this corner, the Mazda holds a really nice tight line. The Ferrari decides to throw it off, and the Mazda obviously wins that one out and lives to fight another day. So we're back with the Honda right now, pushing very hard to try and get onto the back of the Mazda now that the Ferrari is out of the way. And with the somewhat strange lines that this Mazda's taking, I would say the lines similar to the ones that I take. This is enabling the Honda to catch him quite quickly. As we go into this very tight left-hander, you can see the Honda is right with him. The Mazda's pushing quite hard, but all over the road, and the Honda is a lot more planted. The lines are a lot better, is in a lot more control. And again, as we go through here, just a slight rub for the Honda to get through, but I think the Honda has seen so much banging and crashing going on, he's realised how he needs to get through. The Honda nearly drops it, gets it into the gravel, and that lets the Mazda back through. So now we've got this West Mercedes that we know is not afraid to pump people off. He throws it down the inside. He's probably seen what's been going on with this Mazda earlier on in the race, so he knows that all he needs to do is throw it down, make it stick, and he would be good. So now the Mazda is just chasing down the Mercedes, and we've got quite a little queue of cars here. If you look on the track map on the top right, you'll see it's very, very busy, and our Mazda is right in the middle of it. But at this precise moment in time, on lap 4 of 10, it's all pretty settled. Nothing to really worry about. Looking at the Honda behind, you can see that this car is a good second, 2 seconds away. We're a good second away from the Mercedes up front. So we're running in some air at the moment. And like I said, when he's in space, he doesn't drive too bad. It's actually pretty good. I think he's okay the way that he's running at the moment. It's literally just when he seems to get a little bit desperate in traffic where it all tends to go just a little bit awry. So I've jumped forward now a little bit, and we're on board with this Honda as we come in to close out the lap in this little technical section. And the Honda is chasing down the Mazda that we've been looking at all the way through this video. As we come into the last few corners, you can see that he's got a good run. He gets a lovely exit on that corner, can get it up the inside. Now I don't think he should have gone for that move, so yet again our Mazda gets hit in the side, although he comes back and gives him a good old whack on the way through. The black Honda then gets into the mix as well and has to back out a bit. So again, even at this point when we've got back to the part of the race where things are closing up and our Mazda that we're looking at is involved with traffic, it's again getting very desperate and trying to save places just by throwing the car up the inside of moves that really shouldn't be on, although other people are doing the same. Other people are doing exactly the same in this race. It seems to be, if you want to have a nice clean race in this one, it was just not going to happen unless you were way out front and on your own. So again, our Mazda gets a little bit wide through there. The black Mazda pushes up the inside, but I think that was relatively clean. So now he goes in really deep, nudges the back of the black Honda to push him wide to come through. So he's lost 2 places very quickly, and then gets another one back with a right old push to pass into that corner. The black Honda behind, whether he's got a little bit riled or not, I'm not sure, but he seems to be trying to race properly. Gets into that corner, and again our Mazda moves over, and a nice old whack on the back bumper to throw the black Mazda across into the gravel, although the black Mazda seems to have gathered it all up. So now we're chasing down the Mazda again. So, you know, this car at the back must be thinking, what have I got to do to get past this Mazda cleanly? Because every time I get alongside him, he's just going to pull over and punt me off. So we've got another car that's getting into the mix for this one as well. And again, you can see that the Honda is driving so much better than our Mazda, although it gets a bit squirrely there. And immediately he's straight on the back of the Mazda, although at this point he has to dive into the pits, which gives our Mazda some breathing space, and he's completely in the open for the next lap or so. So I've jumped forward now to lap number 8, and the Mazda's chasing down this Ferrari in front, but he's about to pit. And I'll leave the video just to run out to the end of the race, because there is still some more interesting stuff to come. So our Mazda decides to dive into the pit. His pit stop. I don't believe he changes the tyres. They're a bit worn on the front. I would possibly have put softs on, but he decides not to do that, opting just for a fuel stop and to save just a second or two by not taking the tyres. So when he comes, no tyres, fuel in, and then a pit out. So nice clean stop. And as he comes out, exiting the pit lane, I'm just going to pick up myself. You'll notice I have got a half-second penalty, but we go down the inside and he's almost got me into this corner. We're just leaning a little bit on each other. I'm not going to worry about that. He's already lent on me earlier in the race. I think he tried to lean on me a little bit there, but I just held my line, managed to get out in front, and then I was determined at this point to bring this home in front of the Mazda behind. I was also trying to chase down the number 8 car because that was the one that we had the little scrap with earlier on, but I wasn't too worried about that one. Earlier on I was overtaking a car through a corner that had gone wide. The black one threw it up the inside and pushed both of us off, and in the next race we did a little bit of a bump on him because I lined up on the grid straight behind him, as much to say don't do that again. And then we had a brilliant race, really mature, respectful race I have with that car. So at the moment I'm just managing to stay ahead of the Sky Mazda, the one in front. So he did that move on me earlier on. Oh, he's got punted again by the Ferrari. So once again he's gone off. That's going to enable me to really run away. We've got a Supra that's come through as well, so a little bit more argy-bargy going on. But it looks like our friend in the Mazda has got a little bit of payback, a little bit of kudos, or karma is the word I'm looking for. A little bit of karma where he got punted with the Ferrari. Again, he's just trying to keep it in a straight line whilst he's got these quicker cars behind. If we come down to start the next lap, get a little bit of a bump between the two red cars. The Ferrari's now got a run on him down this long straight into the first corner and the right-left chicane. We're just watching it from the point of view of the car behind. Mazda goes really deep, managed to keep the place under braking with the inside line. The Ferrari is so much faster, it would almost be worth just letting the Ferrari through now and then getting on the back of the Ferrari to make sure that we can maintain 10th place in the Mazda, or the Mazda driver to retain probably 11th place he would drop back to, but he doesn't. He keeps on fighting it. The Ferrari has now got a half-second penalty, probably for track limits, and again the Mazda is really pushing on, and he's going to have a fight right the way to the line. Thankfully I've managed to pull away, so I'm not involved with this argument at all now, this battle, and that gave me 9th position, and I beat the rammer, which is really what I really wanted to do. The question is, can this Mazda hold on until the end of the race with this fast charging Ferrari? Now a lot of them have seen what's been going on ahead. The Ferrari's just served his penalty. They know that this Mazda will quite happily lean on you, ram you, do whatever. So is the Ferrari going to have a go, or is the Mazda going to be able to bring it home? The Ferrari should be significantly quicker. He's catching and catching and catching. If we get to the very last corner, is the Ferrari going to dive up the inside? No, he doesn't. He plays it nice and cleanly and fairly, and then it's a straight drag to the line. So whereas I would have probably let the Ferrari through, the Mazda's done the right thing and he's taken the place, and he does actually get 10th place behind me in 9th. So I think what was really interesting with this one is at the beginning of the race, this particular Mazda that we've been focusing on was getting roughed up left, right and centre. I then got a good run up the inside of him going into a left-hander corner that was coming up. He knew he was never going to win out on that corner, so he just leant on me and pushed me off. But then you saw how he would use that move and brake check in and all sorts of moves throughout this race. So one of the things I enjoy with these sorts of videos is seeing what people are doing and how they're behaving in certain situations, and I learn a lot from those. I hope you have too. If you have, please hit the like button for this video. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. In the meantime, I'll see you in another video coming very soon. For now, take care. Bye bye.